Okay, testing. Uh, Good evening, students. Okay, we're going to continue our study on topic 10, taming the sand. Okay, today's topic, we're going to talk about what are sandstorms and how do sandstorm affect us. Actually, before I have already introduced what is sandstorm, okay, and I hope you still remember. We have already watched one video that is about the sandstorm problem in mainland China, and today we're going to investigate how this incident so that may affect the people that may affect the daily life of the people in the area or what would be some specific uh, characteristics of sandstorm. For example, you can see, okay, so today, so I have chosen the background that is about like the sandstorm. I expect, okay, so no one or it may not, we should all know that we may not see that kind of situation like in Hong Kong. Uh, but does it mean that like sandstorm will not affect our daily life? I hope you still remember I have mentioned that no, okay, in Hong Kong. So we may also be affected by that kind of sandstorm, but that is not at that magnitude. Okay, so therefore, let's start. What is exactly sandstorm? So you may use your textbook and also your school INES, okay? Hmm? Okay, that is not. That, sorry, I have to turn on. Ah, yes. Okay, it's all right. Okay, so we're going to talk about Unit 10.4. What are sandstorm and how do sandstorm affect us? So let's start with the exercise here. Okay, so you can see a news that is about the sandstorm in northern China. Okay, so some information I would like you to highlight. Okay, first, so let's see, where that's the sandstorm that may occur. You can see that from the map. Okay, area affected by the sandstorm, that would be in that case, in that area. So where is it? That would be in the northern China. Okay, so you mark it. That would be in the Gobi. That's it. Gobi. That's it. So therefore, okay, so that is the first W, okay, like where the sandstorm that occurred. So especially in this case, in the northern China, in the Gobi, that's it, or I would say sandstorm that may easily occur in the dry land, in the dry land. Okay, and then next, which information should we highlight? Okay, that would be here, April 2015. Okay, so this one we talk about like the time where the sandstorm that occurred. Okay, so you can see that this case that will be like in April, and you may ask like which season? It should be during spring. I may tell you, like the most sandstorm in mainland China that would mainly occur in the springtime. Okay, in the springtime. That is where the wind that is still okay from the west okay to the east. Okay, and then the next paragraph, okay, we can see that what happened, okay, so that may lead to like serious air pollution, okay, so that may hazardous to people's health, that may lead to traffic congestion, school were closed, okay, children were advised to stay at home, all this, okay, that is like what happened, so therefore that would be like how. Okay, so therefore that would be about some basic information for this newspaper cutting, and you can see that okay, like the picture. So people wearing masks, okay, in order to block the sandstorm. and also like the low visibility caused by sandstorm. So that would be the situation during sandstorm. Okay, so therefore, let's have a look for the questions. Okay, so it is necessary for you to mark. Okay, like in which season? Okay, it means when, when. Okay, did the sandstorm occur? So that would be at the spring, or what we call the late spring. Late spring. And on the map, the next question on the map in newscaping, label the source of sand. Source of sand. So we know that that would be from the Gobi. That's it. Okay, we have done it. Gobi. That's it. Okay. So what was the negative impact caused by the sandstorm? So air pollution, health hazard. Okay, we have just mentioned disrupt to the traffic, disrupt to the school. Okay, so that is what we highlight in the paragraph as well. Okay, then at last, question 4. What caused the sandstorm? What caused the sandstorm? So that will be very important. So please mark. Actually, it must be strong winds. Okay, strong wind will bring the dust. Okay, will bring the sand that blow away for a very very long distance. So that lead to sandstorm. So across the whole China. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay, for the definition, okay, in your textbook. What are sandstorm? Sandstorm is a severe windstorm. Okay, so please highlight windstorm. Okay, this is related to strong wind. Okay, that swept the cloud of sand. Okay, cloud of sand or dust across of extensive area. Okay, so it means like the sandstorm. So how do we describe like sandstorm? We need to use a complete sentence like this. Okay, to describe sandstorm is a severe windstorm that swept cloud of sand or dust across an extensive area, and it is a common weather phenomenon in. So please highlight also in desert and also dry land. Desert and also dry land. Okay. So in the arid or maybe semi-arid region, then you will see from the pictures, okay, that shows the movement of the sand and dust, okay, in a sandstorm. You can see three type of material, okay, that has been mentioned in this figure. So including fine dust, okay, fine dust, okay, and also sand. Okay, why that would be these three type of material? So that is according to the size, okay, size of the material. So the smaller size, it should be the fine dust. That's why it could be suspended in the air for a longer time. And then for the larger, relatively larger particulate, okay, so that would be the dust, okay, it may suspended in the air for a relatively shorter time. And then the last one, okay, for those sand, the largest among these three, okay, that would just bounce on the ground. 喺地下嗰度，你類似俾風吹彈跳啦。Okay, so therefore, all this that is blown by the strong wind, and this is how we call like the sandstorm. Okay, then next, we have to talk about like what are the negative impacts, okay, that could be brought by sandstorm. The first one related to transport. During the sandstorm, we know that okay, most transport will be disrupted. Okay, why? Please highlight this. This is because okay, sandstorm or the large amount of sands and dust actually in the sky that will reduce the visibility okay, of the sky or of the area. Visibility in Chinese, okay, 能見度啦，能見度. So therefore that may threaten the safety of transport, especially the air transport. Therefore, when there's sandstorm, okay, so the flight, the road, or even the railway, okay, the rail transport that could be cancelled. that could be cancelled. So like in the case of in mainland China, a sandstorm that may disrupt the transport. So let me tell you another examples. How the transport it could be affected by the lower visibility. Besides sandstorms, I may tell you there will be another case that may lead to the lower visibility of the area. You may mark, but that is not our study, just for your reference. Okay, so you may mark it could be like volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption. Actually, volcanic eruption, it will also reduce the visibility. Okay, so therefore, it will also affect the transport. So therefore, that is on the surfaces. Then the second one, okay, so more important, so when there's sandstorms, okay, sand and dust also, okay, please highlight, buried and also destroyed structure such as like building and road. So if the sandstorm that is very serious, okay, so the road or even like the building, it could be damaged or it could be buried. So therefore, that would lead to a great economic loss. Okay, uh, like the photo below in Gansu. Okay, last time we mentioned Gansu, 甘肅省啦. That is in the semi-arid region. So therefore, when there's sandstorm, okay, so large area could be buried by the sand or dust. So therefore, that will be the first one, okay, on the transport and structure. Then the second one, on people's health and daily life. So that would be very obvious, okay? Sandstorm, sand and dust that may negatively affect people's health. But how? Okay, you can see that sand and dust may contain bacteria and also okay fungi. Bacteria 細菌啊，fungi 一啲嘅真菌啊，okay that may cause some disease to people. And sandstorm can also cause serious air pollution that will cause discomfort to people's eye and badly affected breathing. So therefore, you may write it down, okay? So sandstorm that cause serious air pollution, then it will negatively affect the respiratory system of the people. 個呼吸系統啦。Okay, 呼吸系統 and also together with the eyes, okay, so that make the people's eyes discomfort. And then during sandstorm, it is dangerous to take part in the outdoor activities. That's why, like school, factory, office has to be closed, and this affects the productivity of the society. So when the sandstorm, I would say most daily life, okay, will be stopped, will be cancelled. It is because most people that need to be stay indoor, okay. So therefore, like school or factory or like office, all this has to be closed. And then the third one on agriculture. For agriculture, again, that is very obvious. How sandstorm that may affect like farming. Okay, please highlight this. When there's sandstorm, or you may mark it when there's strong wind. When there's strong wind. Okay, then the topsoil is blown away. 嗰個泥土嘅表土啦就會被吹走啦。OK，topsoil is blown away in source area of sandstorm. Then the land that may lost the soil nutrients or some organic matter. And all these soil nutrients or even like organic matter that would be necessary. So for farming. So therefore, you may ask, like, what would be those organic matter? You may understand this as like some what we call like litter or like falling leaves. So some falling parts of the vegetation. 一啲嘅有機物，即係例如我哋可能會叫一啲嘅枯枝落葉。Actually, it may contain nutrients and it will be good for the soil. However, if there's a strong wind, when the topsoil, when all the layer at the top, that will be blown away, it means that the land will lose its nutrients. So therefore, it will make the land less productive, less productive. And also, in the area where sandstorm pass by, okay, so flying sand and dust may destroy young plants. Okay, so actually, the wind just now we mentioned it is also like some strong wind. It would also destroy some young plant and buried fields. Okay, buried fields. Then again, it would lower the productivity of the land as well. Okay, or you may say it may destroy some plant. Okay, and then in addition, the increasing amount of sand and dust in the air will more sunlight, reflect more sunlight. So the dust or the sand in the air that will block the sunlight, then somehow it will lower the amount of light absorbed by the plant. So that would directly affect the growth of plant. It is because the plant cannot receive more sunlight, as it could be like the layer. I would say this this impact that is similar, I would say similar to the impact of volcanic eruption. Okay, so when this volcanic eruption, so the volcanic ash in the air, somehow it would also block the sunlight or lower the visibility. Why? It is because there's a lot of dust, lots of suspended particulate in the air. So therefore, the result would be similar. Then here, that would be about the impacts on agriculture. So you can see that like sand and dust buried field in 新疆嗰度啦，沙塵暴之後most area would be covered or buried by the sand or dust. So therefore, that would be about some negative impact, okay, of the sandstorm. However, somehow some scientists or they would even mention that sandstorm could bring some benefit. But okay, from my point of view, I would say that benefit that is just in small scale, okay, just is small significant. So what are those benefits it could be brought by the sandstorm? That could be if there's more sand or dust in the air, somehow it can be act as the condensation nuclear. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that it may favor the condensation. Then some places that would be more rainfall. So therefore, in some place, rainfall that may increase, but just slightly increase. It is because sandstorm that may remember the term that may favor condensation. Okay, that may favor condensation. That is similar to the concept I have mentioned in the topic of drought. Okay, we mentioned artificial rainfall. When we do the cloud seeding, okay, the people use the airplane to put some chemicals in the air to favor condensation. I would say the concept that would be similar. When there's more dust or sand in the air, so it may favor condensation. So therefore, that would be the first one. And then the second one, the sand or dust in the air that may reflect sunlight back to space. Therefore, some may say if there's sandstorm, somehow it would lower the global average temperature. So therefore, that may alleviate the problem of global warming. Again, that is as sandstorm that may bring more some damage to the area, and also sandstorm. I would say the period, okay, the duration of sandstorm that is relatively short. So therefore, does it will it really lower the global average temperature that is still like a dome? Okay, then number three, when deposit in the land, soil fertility increase as sand and dust contain organic matter and mineral. Okay, so that would be after the sandstorm. So those dust or those mineral or organic matter will be brought to another places. Okay, so therefore those places that may okay have a better soil fertility. Okay, so therefore that is also like an argument. Then at last, when deposit in the sea, when the sandstone deposit in the sea, okay, that may provide nutrients to facilitate the growth of plankton, and thus marine life. Plankton you may understand it as like 浮游生物啦，喺水入邊嘅浮游生物，that could be also a source of food, okay, for most of the marine life. So therefore, again, similar to point 3, when the sandstorm deposit on the sea, it means that the mineral, the nutrient, it could be brought to the sea, then it may favor the growth of the plankton. Then it may bring more nutrients or more food to the marine life. And that's it. So therefore, people may say it could be some benefit of sandstorm as well. Okay, so therefore, I would say that would be about some extra information for you. Okay, then, okay, you can see 浮游植物啦，浮游植物 plankton. Okay, plankton. Okay, next. Okay, in your textbook, you can see this activity. So for the activities, I'm not going to do the activities with you in online teaching, but I want you to have a look about like how under what condition that may affect the different movement of the sand. Okay, you may just highlight the situation. It will be all right. So the first situation, okay, so that may affect the movement of the sand. That would be situation A, okay, when there's change in the force of wind, okay, it means that when the wind becomes stronger, okay, when the wind becomes stronger, so the movement of the sand, it will increase. Okay, situation number 1. Then situation number 2, when there's changes in the area of loose sand, okay, you may highlight it, loose sand. Okay, when the sand or when the particles on the land that is much loose, it means that those particle, okay, those sand or dust would be easily blown away, therefore, okay, when especially in the dry land, if it lost its moisture, if the area or if the particles, okay, on this area become more dry, more loose, okay, then we may conclude that the particle would be more easier to be blown away. So therefore, that would be change in the area of loose sand. Then with that, okay, we can see that situation C, that will be the opposite. When there's changes in the area of vegetation. So therefore, compared to the loose sand and the area with vegetation, okay, I would say it. So you may know that actually. So the area with more vegetation, actually, the sand will not be easily lifted. Okay, so therefore, the intensity of sandstorms, okay, over the vegetated area or vegetation cover will be much lower. Okay, so that would be the comparison. And then at last, for situation D, so when there's changes in the moisture of sand, okay, we may say that when the area become wet, okay, again, when the area become wet, so it would be relatively difficult, okay, so for the sand to be lifted. Okay, so therefore that would be about some situation. Okay, then next we're going to talk about like how does a sandstorm form. So how the sandstorm forms? So why there will be, or you may understand like why there will be sandstorm. That would be very simple. Okay, the first one, when there's lot of loose sand and dust, loose sand and dust. Okay, especially in the desert, in the dry land, when the land is dried, okay, with little vegetation. So the topsoil is loose and exposed. So therefore, that may provide a source of sand and dust, okay, to be lifted by the strong wind. So therefore, when we talk about like sandstorm, there must be sands first. In the dry land, in the desert, there will be the loose sand. Then, together with the strong winds. When strong wind blow across the land surface, so strong winds blow across the land surface, so loose sand or dust will easily be lifted up and carried away over a long distance. So therefore, sandstorm occurred. Okay. So when there's loose soil, sand or dust, then if there's strong winds, so the dust and the sand will be lifted up and carried away. So that is how does a sandstorm occur. For example, you can see the figures in the next page. Okay, when there's abundant supply of sand and dust in the desert. Okay, then then when there's unstable or rising air. Okay, so those sand or dust will be brought to the sky. Then it will lead to a sandstorm. Okay, so that therefore that is how, okay, that's the sandstorm that form. Okay, next we're going to talk about like what is the global distribution of sandstorm. And for this part, we're going to talk about like where where may the sandstorm occur. So of course that is the area near the desert or in the dry land. You may have a look in the world, okay, in the world. Here that would be about some the distribution of the sandstorm, and you can the distribution of the desert, and then the major source of the sand and dust, and you can see like the direction of the sandstorm. For example, number one, you can see Sahara Desert, and then Arabian Desert, okay, and the desert in the Middle Asia, and of course, like in China, number five and number six. Okay, number five, Taklamakan Desert, and number six, the Gobi Desert. Okay, you can see that would be like the source of the sandstorm, source of the loose sand. And you can see that on the legend here, it mentioned the sandstorm day per years. Okay, day per years. So it could be more than 10, or some area it could be over 50, or more serious it could be over 200. Okay, you can see like the number of sandstorms in those. That's it. And also you can see the arrows here, arrows. You can see that will be the direction. For example, like the case in mainland China, you can see that the direction of the sandstorm, just now I've mentioned, that will be from the west to the east, from the west to the east, and it may mainly occur in the spring. Just now we have mentioned spring. Okay, so therefore, let's have a look here. Let's have a look here. Okay, which continent has a higher frequency of sandstorm? Of course, that would be very obvious. Okay, you can see that especially in the Sahel region, the Southern Sahara Desert. Okay, so the area will be in brown. It means that the date of sandstorm it could be over 200 days over a year. And which continent has the higher frequency of sandstorm? Of course, that would be Africa. Africa. Okay, so after that, we talk about the global distribution of sandstorm. Then let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where is the world largest source of sand and dust? Okay, so the largest source of sand and dust, you can see that that would be very, very obvious. The largest desert in the world, Sahara Desert. Okay, and it is estimated that it should be the largest source of sand and dust. Okay, you can see that on figure 8, on figure 8, okay, on figure 8. Here, that would be the Sahara Desert. And also, you can see the coastline there. You can see the coastline there, okay? And on the west, Atlantic Ocean. And you can see most those sand or dust has been blown away from the desert as the wind direction that would be the easterly, okay, from the east to the west, from the east to the west. So therefore, that could be some extra information about the sandstorm in Sahara Desert. So for that, okay, so you may read it by yourself. Okay, then next we go back to the case of mainland China. Where do sandstorm occur in China? Just now we have mentioned it would be in the two deserts, Taklamakan Desert in Xinjiang, okay, in Xinjiang, and also Gobi Desert in the内 Mongolia, the Inner Mongolia, okay, like this. And the first, you can see that the frequency of sandstorm actually decreased from the west to the east. It means that more sandstorm it would occur in the northern and western part of China. Northern and western part of China. Okay, why? It is because those places would be the dry land, dry land and also desert. Okay, then here, okay, please write it down, okay, in your textbooks for some extra information. In China, actually, sandstorm are classified according to their visibility and also wind speed. Okay, wind speed. So we can identify it as like sandstorm, strong sandstorm, okay, or very strong sandstorm, or sometimes we can call it black storm. Okay, so that is according to the visibility and also the wind speed. Okay, for sandstorm, normally the visibility that is about just like 500 to 1,000 meter. Compared to a normal visibility, of course, that would be very, very low visibility. But if you look at the strong sandstorm and also backstorm, okay, so it could be much lower. Like a strong sandstorm, that would be just about like 50 to 500, and for backstorm, that is below 50. So below 50, that is really, really serious. Okay, and also like the wind speed, like the wind speed. Okay, so for backstorm, so the wind speed would be much higher. Okay, so this one, you may write it down for your reference. Okay, so after like where do sandstorm occur in mainland China? Then right now we're going to explain like why why do most sandstorm that occurred in the northern China? It is because just now we have mentioned that when there's lot of supply of loose sand and dust. Okay, we know that in the northwestern part of China, in Xinjiang, there will be two major deserts, Taklamakan Desert and also Gobi Desert. So therefore, that would be the major desert, okay, in the country or in this part. So therefore, that may provide a lot of loose sand and dust. And then, please highlight this. The next one that would be important. Besides the source of sand, we may say that in the northwestern part of China, there is an extensive area, okay, of the desertification, okay, desertified area. So you can see extensive area at risk of desertification caused by the misuse of land and water resources. We know that look, like the water resources there, that is reducing. That is reducing. So therefore, those areas will become dry. Will become dry. When just now in the experiment in your textbook, it mentioned that if we compare the loose soil and the wet soil, so loose soil, the dry soil, okay, is tend to be more easily, the sand more easily to be blown away. So therefore, similar to the case when the places that is affected by desertification. So therefore, there will be a higher risk of sandstorm. Okay, and then the second one, why in the northern part of China there will be the sandstorm? So it is because of the strong winds. Okay, so why the wind there will be strong? It is because the winds blowing from the contin continental interior. Okay, please highlight this continental interior. OK 喺個內陸嗰度啦，亞洲內陸嗰度，OK，so that broad OK from the continental interior to the northern China in the early spring. OK，so the wind that is relatively strong. Therefore, all together, OK, condition number one and condition number two. That's why sandstorm that may occurred. Okay, most in the northern and western part of China. So I would say mainly that would be near the desert. Okay, so therefore, why do most sandstorms occur in northern China? And almost the last part. Okay, so what is the relationship between desertification and the occurrence of sandstorm? For this part, the relationship between desertification and the occurrence of sandstorm. Please mark a star for that paragraph. Why? It is because in the previous chapter, we learned drought. We learned drought first, and then we study desert, then desertification, and right now we learn sandstorm. I would say the relationship between all those topics, okay, that would be very, very strong. Why? It is because here, okay, you can have a look. You can have a look for figure 11. For figure 11. When this desertification, then soil is dry and loose, increase the supply of sand and dust. Then it may increase the frequency and intensity of sandstorm, and it may speed up soil erosion and cause land degradation. And most important, if you look at here, that will bring back to desertification. So therefore, what should be the idea? That would be this light. In fact, desertification can be both a cause and effect of sandstorm. So therefore, we may say that it's like a vicious cycle, 一個嘅惡性循環嚟嘅。So desertification and also sandstorm, it could be both the cause and effects. Cause and effects. The cause of desertification, it could be sandstorm, but sandstorm, it could be also like the effects of desertification. Okay, so it is necessary for us to understand this. So they are interrelated. So therefore, as desertification and sandstorm can cause huge economic losses and serious disrupt daily activities, different countries has trying different to combat this problem. So therefore, after this, if we know that desertification and sandstorm, they are interrelated, then we should know that how can we solve the problem. So therefore, next unit, okay, unit 10.5, we're going to talk about like How can we solve the problem of sandstorm? Okay, what can be done to solve the problem of desertification as well as sandstorms in northern China? Okay, so therefore, that is about the end of unit 10.4. So about like what are sandstorms and how do sandstorms affect our daily life? Okay, so start from the topic of drought and then drought, desertification, and also sandstorm. Remember, all these topics, they are interrelated. Okay, so I would say they are similar, but what should be the major outcome? That is, I would say the conclusion that could be like this: if people that misuse the land resources or water resources, okay, and we know that the result, that is the production of the land, will drop, will decline, then it may lead to desertification, it will lead to a sandstorm, and sandstorm that may even intensify the problem of desertification. Okay, so therefore that would be about the relationship. Okay, so therefore that is the end of the unit 10.4. So if you have any questions, okay, so you may email me or you may use this means to ask me the question, or you may leave the comment, okay, in this video. Okay, so remember, okay, so please subscribe my channel and pay attention to the announcement on the Google Classroom. Okay, for the next lesson, okay, I think we'll conduct with the school timetable. Okay, so therefore please pay attention to the school notice and your email. Okay, so therefore that's all for today. Okay, so I'll see you next week. Okay, goodbye.